Hello, everyone. I'm Colin Tessier, WrestleZone.com, joined by Mike Knox of the NWA. Mike, how you doing?
What's up, brother? I'm doing good, man.
We are here, call it a little over a week or so from NWA 74, where you will be facing Bully Ray in a tables match. Going to talk all about that. But first, let's start back, not at the beginning, but at least at the beginning of your NWA run. If you first showed up in NWA by attacking Trevor Murdoch, and you've been involved you've been involved with the company ever since. So just in a general sense, at least, was it mean to you to be part of the NWA, a company that has, as NWA 74 suggests, decades upon decades of lineage and history?
Hell yeah, man. Before all this, man, I was a fan. So I watched every little thing I could get my hands on when I was young. I'm getting up there in age. So NWA was a big deal for me, to be honest. And I did a little bit of stuff with NWA right after WWE. I did a little stuff with NWA right after Impact. And again, like I got hurt. I was kind of out of it. I didn't know if I was going to work no more, So when I got word from them, it was really a blessing in disguise, man. It really, really was. So what better way, man? What better way to come back? Get in there and rough somebody up. Nobody's seen me in a while. Shoot, man. Did you see me walk right through the crowd? Nobody even knew who I was. I was smiling, shaking hands, like, oh, hey, guys, how's it going? Just a second.
Got some business to take care of. Yeah.
Oh, bro. I love it, man. And I get to be myself. I don't have to play a dumb character. I don't have to do something like that. I get to be me, which is kind of dangerous, man. Nobody's ever let me do it before. Feels pretty nice.
What keeps drawing you back to the NWA? I mean, you mentioned like right after WWE, right after Impact, like obviously they reached out, they want to work with you, but on your end, like what kind of keeps bringing you back to them specifically?
Well, when you're a kid and you're watching these things, it gets burned into your mind. I remember the no music. I remember the sound stages. I remember all that stuff. And just to be a part of it and to be something so different in this world, which is explosions and boom, boom, bam, you know what I mean? And this is big boys getting down to it, small crowds, you can hear everything in there. So when you pop somebody, everybody gets to feel it. It's just different, man. It's different. That's what draws me back.
You mentioned getting to be yourself, and in the NWA, we haven't gotten to see that so much yet. I mean, what does that really mean to you? Like, what's the difference there? Like, and not to give too much away, but like, what's kind of difference of the Mike Knox you're seeing in NWA versus elsewhere? Like, being yourself, and what does that really mean?
Well, when I got signed in 2005, I'm a fairly large man. 6'6", 6'7". I was pushing about 270 back then, and I could do moonsaults and I could do these big planches over the top, and this is the way I wanted to work. You know what I mean? It wasn't good for my longevity, of course, but I could do all of that, and I wanted to show off. So as soon as they bring me up to the main roster, the first thing they say is, "You're cutting all that out." I don't know. I'm not allowed to cuss, right?
No, it's all good.
Okay, good. They're like, you're going to cut all that shit out. You know what I mean? Like, I was like, well, why, man? I'm trying to give these speeches, like, reach for the brass ring. And like, I'm going to get over, brother. You know what I mean? They're like, no, you're not. This is why. And they're right. You know what I mean? I'm something like dipshit coming out of developmental, big guy. Nobody knows who I am. If I do something at 6'7", whatever they're billing me at, you know what I mean? 275. If I sit there and do a standing moonsault, and then Rey Mysterio does it, and he weighs 150 pounds. Like, pardon me, like who gives a shit if he does it? You know what I mean? This guy sells $5 million a year in masks and $3 million in shirts, and you know what I mean. People pay to watch the pay-per-views at that time. It wasn't like you pay $9 a month and you get to see everything.
Right.
You had to pay $39.95 every month when you see that thing, and that's what they wanted to see. They wanted to see Rey Mysterio. They want to see dipshit Mike Knox out there doing backflips, you know what I mean? Like, come on, man. Like, so they're right. Now, being here, like when I went to Impact after that, it was, oh, you're a biker dude. You know what I mean? Okay, watch this, do this, you're a biker guy. Cool. And then it was like, hey, man, you want to be a circus dude? I was like, nope, I sure don't. Bad, too bad. You are anyways. You know what I mean? So it's like I have to do these different weird characters, and none of them are even close. Like they were never even close to what I was. You know what I mean? What they saw in the first place. You know what I mean? When I came up, it's always been force fed this garbage. And the first thing they said when I came into the back, like, we don't want you to try to be anything that you're not. We're not going to tell you that you can do anything or you can't do anything. We're going to turn you loose, which I bet they're sorry that they did that. You know what I mean? I've been in the business for 25 years. Oh, man, it's hard to say. 25 years. And in that time, I've been all over the place, with all kinds of different people. Like, there ain't nothing you're going to throw at me that I ain't seen 100 times. But now I get to be natural instead of having to figure like, oh, gee, what would a circus man do? Or, oh, a biker man can't do a move here. You know what I mean? He's just got to kick a punch. You know, I'm old, I'm a little beat up. But what I do now, I do very well and very violently. And I'm pretty damn proud of this little run that I got going on here. And Bully's got nothing to do with it. He's just, you know, when I said that I love the business and I do all that stuff, like I was a fan of Bully too. Like the old school, like ECW Bully, man, they were all crazy. Like I was a fan, big fan. They had their big run, WWE, big fan. You know what I mean? Then I got called up. It's kind of a dick, man. You know what I mean? Like he's just like I don't want to say that, like New York, like a stereotype almost. You know what I mean? Like he's loud, he's abrasive, he's aggressive. You know what I mean? And he was with like that in the locker rooms. And you know what I mean? Like he would eat some people up now. You know what I mean? Like he would eat them up. People were nervous. They were scared to meet him. You know what I mean? They were scared to do business with him. He was tough to do business with. So we came into to Impact together. You know, and I was like, all right, man, we're a team now, baby. Right. You know what I mean? Like this is what we like. If you got a problem with me, man, then you have a problem. I don't know if you'd like ever talk to people like in the business or whatever. Like I am not a hated man. You know what I mean? Shoot wise. So it's like, if I feel weird about you, if I don't like you, you know what I mean? Like, you know, business aside, personally, if I don't like you, there's something wrong with you, man. I can't be the only one that feels that way. I figure we're going to bond. We're going to do this thing. We got this biker deal. Like, cool. I've just been off of TV for a while. You know what I mean? Like, so I was fresh, ready to rock and roll. They put us in our own little deal. Bam. Everybody's in there but him. You know what I mean? Like the whole guy, like Doc and Briscoe and all, like freaking Garrett, Anderson. You know what I mean? Like we're all in there. These guys are all my friends. We all came up together.
Right.
Like shit, we go back, you know, some of us go back 20 years. You know what I mean? Like I love these guys. Devon was way cooler than I thought he was ever going to be. You know what I mean? Like we rode together a bunch of times, like doing the house shows and stuff in Impact. Well, it was nowhere to be found. You know what I mean? Like he wasn't trying to help like take guys under their wing, and like he had his own deal, he had his own agenda, and that's what he did. So, you know, like I said, after that, whenever I left Impact with all that noise and shit, I never thought I was going to work again. I didn't think I was going to wrestle no more. I've been doing real estate, bro. You know what I mean? Like I tore my bicep, you know, just doing something dumb, you know, and I started doing rehab. And when I started doing rehab, I started getting back in shape, started feeling pretty good. Stupid Tom Brady down here in Tampa, you know what I mean? 44 down here, like having the greatest years ever. I was like, damn, man, if he can do it, I can get myself back into good enough shape to where I can go beat some people up. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
That's what I've been doing since I was 18. Like, it's the only real job I've ever loved and had. You know, everything else I do, it's like I do it, but I'd rather be standing behind the curtain or waiting in the back to hit somebody. You know what I mean? Like, there's just something different about going in there and going to battle with somebody. You know, like I can't wait for the end of the month, man. I cannot wait.
You mentioned you're
People don't know this. You know, I wrestled Bully Ray one time before. It was a tag match, you know, and I knew we were on the same squad the whole time. So we were I was buttering him up. I was like giving him some stuff, like letting him go. But it was the first time we ever worked. And like shoot, real life and work, you know, it got pretty close. You know what I mean? Taking liberties, you know what I mean? Unprotected shots to the face, like things that you don't do. You know what I mean? Just dangerous stuff. You know what I mean? So like I always kept it in the back of my mind. You know what I mean? Like, hey man, everything's cool because I'm tough. Like, shit, you can hit me in the face with a bowling ball, man. Like I'm tough, man. I've been born kind of dumb, kind of tough. Yeah. So, you know, like it didn't bother me as much as it would bother somebody else. But I still remembered. You know what I mean? So he ain't gonna shock me with nothing, man. I said I'm old, you know, I said I'm getting old. So is he. You know what I mean? It's not the same as it was before. You know what I mean? He's not at the top of his game anymore. He's a good guy. He's a good guy now. He's a babyface. He's on the radio, like saying how good everybody's doing, you know, and he's got his little school and he's like training the kids coming up. He's, you know, you don't change that much as a person. You know what I mean? Like Tiger can't change his stripes. You know what I mean? Like fool me once, fool me twice kind of thing, you know? So I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to take him out in his own game.
You mentioned obviously like maybe having some issues during your time in Impact. That was already, you know, several years ago now. Have you had any contact with him? I mean, obviously he was at NWA. I knew you slammed their table like on the show, but like, have you talked to him at all? Like, are things any different? Like,
no, man. Like even when we were in the same group, we didn't hardly talk. We were a group and he, you know, like he was a leader on TV and he was all that stuff, but like he wasn't in the locker room just trying to give like advice. He wasn't doing all that stuff. He was just, he was running, man. You know what I mean? He was trying to run that gold and he made like, we helped him get there. We helped him do it and we had good heat and it was good for us. You know what I mean? But I'm gonna be real. Like we were hardly ever in the same room together. It wasn't like we were tight, you know, like we went out, we drank, you know what I mean? Like we did that stuff after the shows, but shit, I do that with everybody.
Right.
You know what I mean? If you've ever been on a show with me, you know that. I can't wait. I love it. That's part of the reason I started wrestling in the first place, is because the relationships that you have with these guys in the locker room, when it's all said and done and you're all broken and you can't do it no more, and you haven't seen these guys for 10 years or whatever, and you get on these deals and you see their faces and you remember all these things, it's like a shot of adrenaline, like for life. You know what I mean? For life. That's why I love NWA so much. Oh my God, man. Like the roots in like my personal wrestling career, like coming up all the way from Arizona, like my little El Centro, California, when I started, you know what I mean? Like my first wrestling match in my life in Oxnard, California, like all the way back through the very, very beginning. In 1998 is when I started this. And there are guys in that locker room, like that go back with me to that first day where I was poking my head into a shed with a ring in it. You know what I mean? Like these guys go back to my family. Like when I was signed at WWE, when I like finally achieved my dream of getting signed by WWE, which is everybody's dream, you know, when you start wrestling, because especially back then, 98, when I started, I didn't get signed until 05. Like there was a lot of roads, you know what I mean? Like driven with a lot of different people and a lot of shows and doing a lot of struggling, man. And it's when we finally got signed, there were guys there that best men at my wedding. Like people were there the night I met my wife. Like people that were there in my darkest time, in my highest time. Like SummerSlam. I mean, geez. I was laughing the other night. I was talking on the phone to one of my buddies, and I was like, when we were on the road, like at WWE, we had the same little group that we rode with. And I've been with my wife now for 13 years. And I was like, I tell her, me and Drew Hickinson, Luke Gallows, have probably shared more beds over the same amount of time than me and her did. You know what I mean? Because it's like it wasn't like it was like you got paid low kind of back then. You all had 4 or 5 guys to a room. Not to mention, I like to go out and drink and have a good time, and like that's what like I said, that's why I started it.
Right.
So you know what I mean? Like, oh man, what a life, man. What a life. It's the best.
You mentioned going back with some people, and I have to ask, like in the NWA, you're paired up with Matt Cardona, and there was overlap there in WWE. So like, do you guys go? Is he one of the people you go back with? And is that why you're kind of working with him now as part of the Cardonas? Like, what's your issue with Matt Cardona?
I feel like he's part of I feel like he really is part of my family. Well, like I said, that day, like whenever we got signed back in 2005, there was a bunch of us, and him and Majors, the Major brothers, they came in deep South. Infamous for torture, and you know what I mean, like hard classes and 500 squats and like army training, sir. And you know what? It's all true. It was very hard. There was no days off. You were getting your ass handed to you every day, and if you weren't on your game, you know what I mean. Like Bill saw it, and it was pretty damn quickly called out. So they were down there. Shit, he couldn't have been more than 20 years old, maybe 19. Like fresh faced, like bright eyed, you know what I mean? Like, oh my God. Like he hadn't been beat up, you know what I mean? Like I've been around for a while. Like before I got signed, I was around for 8 years.
Right.
Shit, I've been to Japan already like 10 times, you know what I mean? Like I was in Mexico for half a year, you know what I mean? Like I've been around a bit. Like I was in Puerto Rico, and I got to do shit. But they came like fresh out the factory, you know what I mean? So when he went through there, and like it was an alpha male situation down there, and there was some guys that were pretty goddamn rough, you know what I mean? And I was one of them. And I didn't ever take it easy on them. I freaking gave it to them as hard as I could. I gave it to everybody down there. I want to be the best, for Christ's sake. You know what I mean? Like, so now when we come up, and I think we took a picture, and that shit, I think there's 10 of us in the locker room that went through that. You know what I mean? Like, I ain't going to say who all they are, you know what I mean? Just in case later on,
right.
You know, do a little something with it. But he was one of them, and he was a standout. And he, you know, he never, that place, when you get down there and you get your ass whooped every day, you know what I mean? And you're like training so hard, just trying, everybody's reaching for the same shit. You know what I mean? So it's like, we go through the same thing. Like me and him, we were standing back to back in a line running through McDonough, Georgia, through the town square, because we didn't want to take 100 bumps. You know what I mean? So, oh, okay, cool, man. You can run 10 miles then. Shit. All right. You know what I mean? So it's like anybody that has to go through that kind of shit, you know what I mean? Pushing the trucks around the parking lot, 500 squats every morning, run a mile every morning. Like, shit, that's not normal. You know what I mean? Like, not normal people don't do that. Never missed a day. Freaking, it's different, man. It's different with those guys. I love everybody, like I said, but with those guys, even if I don't get along with them, like in personal life, like it is different with these guys. And him, I get along with. You know what I mean? I think he was done wrong in WWE.
For sure.
I think they held him down. I think they held him back. You know what I mean? And I kind of thought they did the same thing to me personally. You know what I mean? But shit, I wasn't going to be as over as he could have been. You know what I mean? He was like, he's got a million fault. Like, come on, bro. You know what I mean? I remember this little nerd coming in. He never had to drink. You know what I mean? Like, he's got 1 million followers now, and he's holding titles everywhere, and he's creating all this buzz, and everybody's looking at everything he does, man. Shit, I'm proud of him. I'm glad to stand behind him. You know what I mean? Like,
and now you can be with him.
Family, bro.
Now you get to be with him in NWA again. So are you enjoying that? Like going way back with him, you said you're proud of what he's been doing, and now you get to kind of work together now. You said you're enjoying the run you're on because you get to be yourself. So it's like you're both kind of in this, you know, this different chapter of your careers, and you're both, you know, succeeding in a very different way compared to where you were, as you mentioned, way back then.
Yeah, bro. I just for right now, I'm happy. You know what I mean? Like, I'll stand behind him. You know what I mean? I'll let him wear the gold. You know what I mean? I know. Am I a champion, bro? Like, am I that kind of guy? I'll probably take the title to the bar and like leave it there. You know, I'll put it on a kid or something and forget, and he'll like run off with it. I'd be. You can't give me that kind of responsibility to grow a brand. You know what I mean? To be responsible, to do interviews, and to like post on social media. You can't trust me to do that kind of thing. I grew up a little different, man. I didn't want anybody knowing where I was. I didn't want anybody knowing what I was doing. You know what I mean? Because I was usually doing bad shit. You know? So I mean, as I get older, I'm kind of the same way. Like, I'll put stuff on Instagram and I'll put stuff on there and like try to talk to the fans a little bit and let them know what I'm doing. But I'm super uncomfortable about it. You know what I mean? I don't like to give them too much of my personal life. You know what I mean? But whenever I do get to get around everybody, it's a pretty darn good time, man. Pretty darn good time.
It takes a lot of, I mean, I guess honesty with yourself to know like you don't necessarily want to be a champion in that position. And I guess like alongside.
Hey, you know what? I'm still trying to build myself back up. I'm not to 100%. You know what I mean? Like, if I was a champion, I think it would be great. I do. You know why? Because I wrestle differently. I do. I'm a different breed, dude. I'm 6'6", 6'5", 275. I can move. I'm fast. I'm strong. I'm strong enough to scoop up just about anybody. And if I can, I know momentum, man. 25 years in the business. I pick out little weaknesses. I see things, you know what I mean? Like, bro, my crossbody. Every fat guy's been trying to do it like me since I started doing it. You know what I mean? Like, I take that a little bit, I take it personally in a positive and a negative. Positive, you know, it's cool. Like, people thought enough of me doing it as a big guy, like with a little bit of violence and a little velocity. And now everybody's kind of trying to do it. I still don't think anybody does it as good as me. I had to fight to get that damn thing in there. I had to lie. I pretended like I was doing something else. I remember the day, like, because I was like, oh, hey, man, I'm going to hit him with this thing. And everybody shit all over it. They're like, no. That's a babyface move. I was like, nah, man, just let me do it. I think I was working Ray at the time. So we'd worked a bunch of times. And it was like, boom, I came around and I come barreling in like this, like I'm going to hit him with the old shoulder. And instead, I shot as hard as I could, and I just shot it on him. You know what I mean? And I knew I was heavy then. I was big. Like, there was no way he was stopping it. No way. So, bam, hit him with the thing. And then I came back, and everybody was like, you're doing that every week, and blah, that should be your finish, and this and that. I was like, well, yeah, that'd be great, but I never. You know? So, you know what I mean? I don't know. I ramble, bro. I don't know.
I mean, you're doing great things in the NWA now. You're going to be facing Bully Ray, but you mentioned like maybe if you're in this position where, yeah, maybe it'd be great to be a champion, but that may not be what you're exactly striving for, at least at this point. What would your goals be?
Not right this second. Right now, I'm completely focused on Bully. You know what I mean? I'm watching his old stuff, which I don't know if he can still do it. You know what I mean? What he used to do. But if he can, I'm ready for it. You know? Doing that, get myself in shape. I feel like I'm in as good a shape as I've been in 15 years. My body feels great. My mind's right. I'm thinking right. Like, Bully's in trouble, man. Bully's in trouble. He thought the first one was bad. I'm gonna whoop that ass. It ain't gonna be fast either. I'm gonna whoop his butt.
Definitely looking forward to seeing that at NWA 74. Now, I always hesitate to say this, but I was watching you when I was a kid, which sounds crazy. It's like, you know, I remember you back in like 2008 ECW, those kind of days.
Is it the Grays? Is that what it is?
You know, but it takes me back. But I'm wondering, like, for anybody, let's say you got a new fan tuning in at NWA 74, and they're going to be watching you, and they're going to be watching this version of you now. Do you have any matches you can kind of pinpoint, let's say throughout the time you've been in NWA so far, that kind of showcase who you are now compared to like maybe what fans maybe knew you as before from an in-ring perspective?
Well, I'm thinking me and Pope, me and Trevor, man, me and Trevor have a good thing, man. Like, he's hard. You know what I mean? Which is what I like. This is why I wanted. That's why I wanted some of it. You know what I mean? He was another one of those guys. That was a little standoffish when we first met back then. You know what I mean? Just a little bit, but I don't forget those kind of things. So, no bullshit now. I got a lot of respect for him. He's working hard. He's doing what he's supposed to do. He's fun to fight. He's fun to fight. He's fun to wrestle, which is a blessing and a curse for everybody. If I fight him any day. If he's walking down the hall or something, I jump right on his back. Sorry, man. I like fighting, man. I love wrestling. I love fighting. It's fun. Thank God I came back to the NWA. God dang, I was trying to fight everybody. All these poor normal people. Man, this big ogre comes running at them all mad for no reason. They have no idea what to do, half of them. Jesus. Thank God for Billy. Get me back in there, man.
You mentioned facing Trevor, but like any other match, you mentioned Pope. Like you wrestled in the Crockett Cup.
Pope, when we did the Crockett Cup, I came up my whole time like in Deep South and stuff. I was a tag guy. I have a lot of respect for tag guys, tag matches, the psychology, the things you can do, the timing of the thing. It's like you could sit there and have a tag partner for 10 years and never have the timing of a guy for like one night. You know what I mean? Like it's either there or it ain't. You know what I mean? Like me and BSK, we've had a few matches where like we had us in the Briscoes. You know what I mean? We had us in the what was it? I don't know what to call himself. Harry and Doug. You know what I mean? We had that little sixer. You know what I mean? Like from back in the day when I was doing my other stuff, I try to stay a little bit more on the ground, use my body. I know I'm heavy. You know what I mean? So if I see an opening, I try to put as much weight as I can on them. You know what I mean? Whether I'm jumping on their back, whether I'm freaking falling on them, they're falling on their chest. If I pick them up, I know I'm tall, bro, so I get them up a little higher and I drop them. You know what I mean? It's just everything I do hurts a little more. Everything. And I know, and I take good pride in this too. You know what I mean? I don't know if anybody thinks it, but I sure do. I'll throw a mean ass punch. Mean. You know what I mean? Like, people don't throw it like me no more. You know what I mean? I'm a good striker. I worked really, really hard over all those years. Really hard. Where I can freaking punch you from any direction with either hand. I could throw kicks in there. I love those mafia kicks. I just want to hurt you enough. To where I can get you in a position to where I can hurt you a little more. You know what I mean? Man, that's all I'm thinking when I'm out there.
You mentioned being proud of the run you're on now. To just kind of close it out here, as we're looking forward to NWA 74, a big match with Bully Ray, but you mentioned getting to be yourself. But just again, maybe in a more general sense, like what about this run do you in an NWA, like do you kind of hang your hat on? Like what are you really enjoying about it?
I am enjoying standing behind one of my best friends and supporting him when he's on the run of his life. So far, it's only going to get better. I'm taking so much fun and pride in that. I can get out there, I can separate the real world from my world. You know what I mean? In the wrestling world, I mean, not that I'm saying it's my world, but in my eyes, you know what I mean? Like, when I decide that I want to be champion, you'll know it. You know what I mean? When I'm ready to rock and roll, you'll know it. And it ain't that far away. But for right now, I'm looking at Bully. It's a little bit personal. I just don't like the guy. You know what I mean? So it's going to be St. Louis, man, end of the month. We've been waiting for years for this. This didn't just come up.
One more time ahead of it, NWA 74. Your match with Bully Ray, it's going to be a tables match, August 27th, 28th, 2-day event for NWA 74. What can fans expect to see when you do face Bully Ray in the tables match?
Oh, sorry, but I was sitting there like in my head, I was thinking how fun it is to throw people through tables, man. I should have been doing this the whole time. You know what I mean?
Every match should be a tables match.
Jesus, every match should be a tables match. I love throwing people through there. You see me throw the big boy through there?
Oh yeah, you'll practice in the recent NWA
Man,
power.
did you see him snap through there? Holy shit, that was fun. Sorry, bro. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, I was just asking. Well, you're looking forward to the slamming bull right through a table?
Oh God, yes. Oh God, yes. That first one was that first was good. It was really fun. Really, really fun, man. I can't wait to do it again. Perfect.
With that, Mike, for all the fans out there, where can they find you on any social media, anything so they can keep up with what you're doing?
Bro, my Instagram is Noxy_78. I don't know, man. I'm old caveman, bro. I got like old Facebook shit, like Mike Knox. I got a couple of them. I got a fan one and I got like a personal one, but they're both pretty much, I just got too many friends on one, so I opened up the other one. They can have kind of the same stuff. Yeah, look me up, get in touch. Oh my God, realtors. Any realtors out there listening to the show? I'm not trying to push nothing here, but please, like DM me, personal message me. I just fell into a thing in this real estate game. It's a game changer for us as realtors, and it's about to go nationwide. I want to share it with you guys. It's awesome, bro. Just get a hold of me, email me, DM me, whatever those things are, private mail, whatever. I am all that stuff. Pretty cool, man. It could change your life. It could actually make it worth it.
NWA 74, August 27th and 28th.
Oh yeah, shit, turn into 74. Turn into 74, man. Oh God, I'm gonna throw him so hard at that table.
Very much looking forward to that. Mike, thank you so much for your time. Good luck with your match with Bully and with everything else moving forward.
Thank you, brother. You too.